Today, we're going to dive into a really practical guide all about penile curvature. We're going to explore how you can work with your own unique anatomy to find sexual positions that actually enhance pleasure for both you and your partner and lead to a way more fulfilling experience.
So, first things first, let's just get right to the main question that's probably on your mind. Is it even normal to have a curved penis? You know, it's a super common concern, and the short answer is absolutely yes. For most guys, it's totally normal.
So yeah, let's start by just normalizing this, because really, understanding that you're not alone, that's the first big step towards feeling confident.
Look, a slight curve, it doesn't matter if it's to the left, the right, up or down, is an extremely common variation in anatomy. For so many people, it's just how their body is built from the start, and it is absolutely nothing to worry about.
But you might be wondering what causes this curvature in the first place. You know, understanding the why behind it can be really helpful, especially if the curve seems a bit more significant.
So a more pronounced curve can sometimes develop over time. This can happen from stuff like repeated minor trauma or even just really vigorous sex, which can lead to a breakdown of the internal tissue. As that tissue heals, it can form scar tissue. And over time, that scar tissue might become less flexible than the tissue around it, causing a bend toward that side.
But, and this is really important to remember, it isn't always caused by an injury. Like we said, for a lot of people, a curve is just part of their natural anatomy. The main point is, whether it's natural or it developed over time, there are ways to work with it.
Which, of course, brings us to our first practical solution. If you're looking for a position that's both really comfortable and super adaptable, spooning is a fantastic place to start.
So in this position, you and your partner are both lying on your sides, facing the same direction. This allows for entry from behind. It's simple, it's incredibly intimate, and it takes very little physical effort.
The benefits here are pretty clear. Spooning is just exceptionally comfortable, which makes it a great option if you want a low-effort, high-intimacy position. But its biggest advantage is how versatile it is. You can easily just switch which side you're on to accommodate a left or a right curve, and it also works great for upward or downward curves.
Okay, so now let's look at a couple of other classic positions that can be especially effective, particularly for those with an upward or a downward curve. I mean, there are lots of options out there, but these two are often mentioned for a very good reason.
First up is the missionary position. Now, it might seem basic, but it can be uniquely effective if there's an upward curve. And here's why.
And this is the key insight right here. The upper wall of the vagina is often the most sensitive area. So, an upward curve in the missionary position can directly stimulate that exact spot, which can feel incredibly pleasurable for your partner. It's a perfect example of your anatomy actually working in your favor.
Another highly effective position is doggy style. This one is fantastic for those with either an upward or a downward curve, mainly because it allows for all these subtle changes in angle that can lead to deep penetration and direct G-spot stimulation.
All right, so after exploring the causes and the solutions, what's the single most important thing to take away from all this? Let's just boil it down.
Your body's unique shape isn't some problem that needs to be fixed. It's a characteristic to work with. So instead of worrying about it, you can just experiment with different positions and angles. The key to a great sex life isn't about fitting some kind of specific mold. It's all about communication, adaptation, and just finding what feels best for you and your partner.
And that leaves us with a final thought. By understanding your body and communicating openly, you can turn what might be an anxiety into a real opportunity for pleasure and connection. It kind of makes you wonder, right? With the right information and a little creativity, what other parts of our lives can we improve?